Hey, what's up guys? Coach JV here. I just want to come to you guys, just a real casual video on our YouTube channel. Just wanted to start to go a little bit deeper, like I said, around our TikTok videos. The exciting news is we just opened our 3T Fitness Facility Academy back up today. So our in-person went phenomenal this morning, and I'm about 30 minutes away from our evening Academy clients coming in. And then our app for the global is launching on the 20th. It's launched already, but we have people going through beta tests. We'll be opening up applications. We're accepting 10 people. Have people waiting in the wings from global. We're accepting 10 more people for our June 1st launch to join our global academy. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to talk about the steps to growth. Like, really, what does it take to grow within your life? Understanding that throughout your life, there's going to be trials and tribulations. There's going to be ups, there's going to be down. So that's the first thing I want to talk about is I want to talk about mistakes. I also want to talk about setbacks, and I want to talk about how those affect you and how you can get through those to move forward. So that's going to be step number one. Number two, we're going to start talking about definite of purpose, of really finding out unwavering belief in what you want. And number three is really changing your surroundings. That's the key part, because as you learn to evolve to the next level, the key factor is changing your surroundings. So number one is talking about forgiveness, right? Forgiveness, making mistakes, understanding that there's going to be setbacks in your life. And I started with the answer. The answer is forgiveness. It's really understanding that everybody is going to make mistakes. All of us are going to have setbacks. And the way I explain it to people, it's called contrast. And what contrast creates within your mind, your body, and your overall whole vibration is what's called resistance. And so when we make a mistake or we experience something that's called a setback or failure, what it does is it creates insecurity and resistance within our body. And if that insecurity and resistance carries on into your daily activities or into your relationships or into your future, it's going to be stacked into your subconscious mind. And then you have insecurity after insecurity after insecurity after insecurity stacking up in your mind. And what's happened is it's starting to block you from the abundance you deserve. Because no matter how strong your goal is set, and the second part I'm going to talk about is if you have resistance present, it's going to be pulling you back away from your positive point. So a mistake, right? I made a mistake just recently this last week. Now, the mistake that I made was not being clear on intentions or misunderstanding intentions, right? And trying to help and ended up hurting. And so that's one of the things that I understood when I went through the process. Like, what could I have done differently? And where did I lose sight of the intention? And how can I learn from that and move on from that? Because the fact is, we're all hopefully doing everything with good intentions, but sometimes we get lost in things, right? And we're gonna make mistakes. As long as you're not making mistakes intentionally or intentionally trying to hurt somebody or hurt a company or hurt someone, then it's just a mistake only if you repeat the mistake. So there's always learning lessons and there's always setbacks. So I believe that things happen in your life to really reveal and show to you the things you need to work on, okay? So when you make a mistake, you have to understand that we're all gonna make mistakes. The key is, how do you learn from that mistake and how do you move forward? A failure, right? If you maybe lose a business. I filed bankruptcy. I lost my business, 13 years ago, 14 years ago now. Drug addict, former drug addict, opiate addict. I failed. I lost a bunch of people money in my first business because of my poor decisions. I was a horrible father at that point. I made some really poor decisions. It appeared to be a failure in the world's eyes, and I made a lot of mistakes, right? They weren't intentional mistakes. It was my activities and behaviors, but I didn't intentionally go out there to hurt somebody. I didn't intentionally go out there to become a drug addict. It was based on my subconscious mind and my thoughts that drove me that way. It's my responsibility, but I wasn't intentionally trying to hurt anybody or take people's money or lose the business and hurt people, right? It was decisions I made that stacked up, and then I didn't deal with it. I didn't move on to the next level, and so I had the repercussions of that. It doesn't make me bad. It didn't mean that I'm a horrible person. It just meant that I made a mistake, right? And it only becomes a mistake, repeat after me, if you do it again. So here's the first thing. Understanding you have made a mistake, and it's okay. Understanding that you're going to fail, and it's okay. So the key to that is forgiveness. It's allowing yourself, don't worry about other people, because other people are gonna feel the way they feel based on their subconscious mind programming, based on their paradigm, and based on their perception. The worst thing you can do is try to change someone else's perception. That is the worst thing you can do, because you're never gonna change their perception. The only way to change someone's perception is to change your vibration, and hopefully they'll feel the true intention. And if they eventually feel the true intention, there will be forgiveness and a release of that tension. If they don't, that's their responsibility, okay? You can only control your own internal vibration and the knowing of what you have done in your paradigm or your universe to cause that. So forgiveness of yourself allows you to release that, and forgiveness of others within your mind allows you to release it. So if somebody did something to you, thinking about it, if you can't physically call them or you don't feel comfortable calling that, but actually physically within your mind and mentally and emotionally releasing that into the past. It's called forgiveness. Because what you're doing is you're taking that so-called mistake, that so-called failure, and you're allowing your mind to release it into the past. In another video, I'll go into subconscious mind a little bit deeper, but you're allowing it to leave your mind, opening up space for new growth. Because if you go into a new growth phase in your life with all that jumbled up resentment, anger, sadness, jealousy, and lack of forgiveness, you're really gonna struggle. Because I'm going to talk about that in number 3, is that really you're going to struggle because you're going to repeat the same patterns. So can we all agree, comment below if you agree that you're willing to change your patterns, or excuse me, that you're willing to forgive the things that you've done, the patterns that have gotten you here today. So number 2 is definite purpose. So really defining who you want to be and what you want to do. Now here's the thing. You don't have to know exactly who you want to be. Let me understand this. When I say defining who you want to be in this moment, what do you want out of your life? What do you want out of your life? Mine is to be a superhero in a modern day society and show people the power they have inside them to accomplish great things. Have I made mistakes? Absolutely. Absolutely. But my intentions are always pure. But understanding that was always my intention when I left corporate America. By having that intention, has it evolved into a totally different business? Absolutely. But the true intention of what I want and what I will do is impact someone's life every single day. It's on my podcast, right? So the physicality has changed and the reality has changed based on my definitive purpose. So it doesn't matter if you don't have the full plan. It doesn't matter if you don't see the future. It doesn't matter if you can't see the steps right in front of you. It's about having faith and understanding in that moment, what is your definitive purpose? And once you decide, you put your roots in like an oak tree and you do not bend from that. Once you put your roots into the ground, you do not bend from that. It's like an oak tree. Every single storm, it weathers a storm. It could be a hurricane that comes by. It just wavers just a little bit and gets right back on track. Okay, so if you're living with lack of forgiveness, all this resentment, and you think you screwed everybody over, because the truth is, if you made a mistake, the other people have probably moved on and they forgot about it until it gets triggered emotionally somehow. They're not even thinking about you as you're worried about it, right? So release it into the past. You come into definitive purpose in that moment. What is it that you want in that moment? And when you gain definitive purpose and you gain faith, the universe, God, will start to reveal those things to you. Whatever you believe in, there's something to faith. When you lock that in, the universe will start to clear that path for you. And eventually you'll end up from, starting, it's crazy to see how far I've come. I thought I was gonna be a famous book author, speaker, that all flopped. And here I am now running a 3T Warrior Academy. It evolved the way it was supposed to. And I just wake up every day with faith, knowing that I truly want to intentionally help someone every single day. If I make a mistake, I make it right, I forgive, I move on, and I keep moving forward with definitive purpose. And that's why I'm so happy internally all the time. And number three and most important, you can't get where you want to go taking advice and hanging out with the same people that got you to where you are. Let me repeat that. You can't get to where you want to go, if it's anything outside of where you're at right now, hanging out with the same people and taking advice from the same people that got to where you are. So if you're trying to become a millionaire, and it's just a fancy thing to say, right? It's not about money to me, it's about abundance and freedom, right? But if you're trying to be a millionaire, just to put like a story behind it, if you're trying to become a millionaire and you're hanging out with people that make $10,000 a month, that have the activities and behaviors and habits of someone who makes, $10,000 a year or $20,000 a year, they're gonna have certain traits, habits, activities, and behaviors, and maybe a mindset, right? And they're gonna hang out with those same types of people. It's not good or bad. Don't get all defensive and put in the comments, it's not good or bad, it's proven. Who you hang out with, you will make probably within $10,000 of those people, because there's certain patterns, habits, addictions, and behaviors that those people embody, right? It's just they're stuck in a paradigm that they think that is their life, that they can't have anything else outside of that. So if you're trying to start a new business, or you're trying to move into a whole different realm of life, which is maybe for money, say the $1 million, right? You can't take advice from people who are making $20,000 a year. You can't. You got to seek wise counsel. You need to start hanging out with and mentoring with people who make $1 million. You need to walk, talk, and act like those people. If you're trying to come off drugs, you can't be like, oh, I'm healed. Don't worry about it. I'm going to go save all the drug addicts. I'm going to hang out with them. No, you can't. You have to move into an environment with healed people and reach back and pull those people up to the healed people, not hang out with them. If that makes sense, like, with someone who's healed, it's not dissing them. What I mean is you can't hang out in a crack house saying that you're healed, because eventually you will break, because you are the sum of the people you hang out with. So don't take advice from people that got you to where you are if you want to move to somewhere else, right? So there's a 33% rule. I'm not sure where this came from, but they say 33% of the people you hang out with should be going where you're at. 33% of people should be at your same level, and then 33% of the people you hang out with should be maybe lower than your level, I guess, not in an arrogant way, but someone you can teach, right? The 33% below you're an inspiration for. The 33% around you are inspiring each other, and the 33% above you are the people that are going to pull you into that next level and challenge you. So let's recap the 3 things that I just talked about. Number 1, we talked about mistakes and setbacks. Everybody's gonna go through mistakes and setbacks. It's called contrast. Stop sitting in the fucking pity party, get up off your ass and start moving. Everybody makes mistakes. I fucked up this last week. I made a mistake. Whatever. I made a mistake. I knew my intentions. I fixed it, and it's moving on. It's that simple. It's that simple. I made a mistake. I know my intentions, and so you just say, okay, made a mistake, move on. There was something that I caused inside of myself, a vibration that created that reality for the mistake. It's that simple. You can't dwell on it. You just got to move on, right? If your intentions are pure, then move on, learn from it. I learned a lot from the mistake. Absolutely. And within that too is failure. There is no failure. My online system has flopped 5 times. This time it's not flopping, it's doing really well. Every flop from the reality world or the outside world that looked like a flop was actually the foundation built for this kick-ass program we just launched that's doing fucking amazing. It took me 5 tries to get the one that works, and it's freaking awesome. Not one of it was a failure. Not one of it, no money lost. It was all lost money to regain the foundation to blow it up. Number 2, faith of an oak tree. Just locked and loaded in that moment. You don't have to see your future. You can visualize it, but you don't have to know all the steps. You don't have to have all the resources. You just gotta fucking move. And you just gotta have faith in who you want to be in that moment, just like I've done. I thought it was a speaker, motivational. Maybe I will be there. I'm sure now, Tik Tok, all that stuff, I'll probably be getting asked to speak all over the world. And it just wasn't timing for that. It wasn't the time for that. So definite a purpose, right? Like an oak tree. Number 3, if you want to get somewhere, you can't take advice from the people or hang out with the people that got you to where you're at. So 3 simple things you can do, warriors. It's very simple. It's all about mindset. It's all about a growth mindset. So just a reminder, we're going to be launching our application process on May 20th, which is about 3 days from now, I think. Application process, you go through an interview with me, and then we decide if you're part of the academy. But if you're not a 3T member, if you're not already part of the academy, you can join our global private Facebook group. So just send a comment down below that you want to join. Kev or I will send you a message and we'll tell you what to do. So we have to go through an application process just to get into the global community, which is a free community, because we only want people who are warriors and want to add value. So I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with a friend. Talk to you soon, warriors.